I have in front of me two controllers, one that I use for the R3S and the other one for the Mini 4 Pro. The Mini 4 Pro I also use for the Neo, and what I've been told by DJI is if I unbind the R3S from its current controller, then it should be possible to bind it to the Mini 4 Pro controller and have both R3S and Mini 4 Pro binded to that controller. Let's try. I turn on the Mini 4 Pro controller. Please note that I have connected the R3S to this controller before, but I got then a message that I just have a certain number of connections before I had to bind it. So then I use Connect Aircraft. Sometimes I have to hold in the power button to get it to relink. So now I'm going to pair the R3S to the Mini 4 Pro. Confirm. I have paired it before. Firmware updated. Let's see what kind of messages I get. Okay, it seems like I have to press the power button and then pair. It's now paired. And now I change bound device. Let's see what happens. Binding aircraft with device controller and blah blah blah. Yes. Okay. R3S, confirm that I want to bind it to this controller. So the binding is successful. And I guess I just have to close this one. If I now go to the profile, device management, click on this one. Okay, it's not bounded to my account. Bound to my account. Yes. And what about my Mini 4 Pro? Okay. It is bound to my account. But what if I now turn off the R3S and turn on my Mini 4 Pro? What will happen then? Okay, it's on. Connect aircraft. Mini 4 Pro. Confirm. So now let's see. Firmware updated. Okay. So this means that it does seem like it's possible to bind both to one controller. That's interesting. Let's look at the profile again. Device management, Mini 4 Pro. That's bound to my account. And the R3S also bound to my account. That's interesting. It means that I can have one controller and binding at least two drones to the same controller. Oh, that is, since I have Neo, but the Neo doesn't require any binding. So if I look at the device management again, Neo, well, it's actually bound to me, but I never got the question to bind it, so that's strange. Anyway, all three now bound to my account and to the same controller. So if I turn off the Mini 4 Pro, turn the R3S on again. So if I select Connect Aircraft, R3S, confirm. Okay, so it does not seem like there's an issue in actually binding more than one drone. It's so fast, even though I'm inside. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to get the R3S back onto the R3S controller. I turn on the R3S controller. Connect aircraft, R3S, and it has previously been linked, so it should recognize it. Let's see what it does when I want to get it back on this controller. Okay. Seems like I have to pair it again, but okay, that went fast. So now I got this message. Let's record this on the screen as well. Now I got this message that I should change bond device. Otherwise, I know what's happening is that I can only fly a certain of times, as you see, 20 times. Each time I start up, it will count down. So if I do change bond device, yeah, I've read all of this before. And then I confirm that it should be bound to this controller. Okay. So going to the profile again, device management. Yeah, the R3S is definitely here. Anyway, if I turn off the controller again and turn the controller on again, I shouldn't get any message that I have to change any binding. It should actually start directly into the drone view. And it did. So I'm not actually quite sure if I even need to unbind it from this controller. I think it's sufficient to unbind it when I bind it to the other controller. So let's turn off and try back onto the Mini 4 Pro controller again. And the last thing I connected to this controller was the Mini 4 Pro. So I should not get any camera view. And I didn't. Let's just start recording. I forgot to do this that the last time. So I select connect to aircraft and just moving this one and select R3S. I know that it's at least linked. So normally it can connect directly. Other times, as you saw first time, I need to press the power button. Yeah, as this time as well. So press and hold the power button. There, aircraft beep. And mind you, this is now linked to the original controller. Yeah, and it went straight in there. And now it's back to 20 times. If I change... Yeah, if I change bound device, yeah, blah, blah, everything, and next, and confirm that it's aircraft and device. Let's just look at the remote controller number, 6CO at the end. Binding successful. So that should mean that if I disconnect the R3S by turning it off and then turning it on again, it should come directly with the video feed. Yeah. Now I'm going to go back to the original controller again. Turn on the original controller for the R3S. And of course, since it's not bound to any drone, I have to select connect aircraft and select R3S again. And I will probably have to press and hold the power button again. Enable to connect to aircraft. Okay. Aircraft beeped. Pair. Yeah, and then it has seen that I have bound this drone to a different controller. So if I do change bound device, next. Yeah, and that is definitely a different controller number. Binding successful. So now it's bound to this controller again. So not too bad actually. But of course I can't fly both at the same time with the same controller. But it seems like I can bind at least the Air 3S and the Mini 4 Pro to one and the same controller without getting the restriction of just flying 20 times before I have to bind it. I can just bind it and it's kept there. That's good news because, as I understand, this should be the same for the RC Pro 2. Let's see then what happens when I want to get the Mini 4 Pro up and flying again after being messing so much about with the Air 3S on this controller. And of course, it will not directly start up with the camera view because last time I connected was with the Air 3S. So if I select Connect Aircraft, Mini 4 Pro, confirm, switching, it's of course already bound to this device, firmware updated, and we're on. This is good news. Then I will probably go for the RC Pro 2.